Campbell, a couple of months in now, how's the season went so far?
Good. I've been competitive. Started quite strong. We're in the mix. I think we're 4th or 5th in the league. Still in the cups. So all good. Pleased with the way things have went so far. Definitely.
Especially the start of the season, kind of the end of the summer. I mean, it was a great first couple of games. Obviously in the A division, so it was kind of a new era for the club in that league. But it was just a great couple of games to start off, and the buzz was really around the club, wasn't it?
It was really good. As I say, we started really strongly. We were being competitive. That's all I really wanted, was to be competitive. We spoke about that at the start of the season, and we have been. Squad's been a bit of an issue at times, availabilities and stuff like that, injuries, suspensions, as always. And it's playing its part a wee bit now, because we've started a few, we've lost a couple, and then we'll get back to winning ways. So there's always improvement.
What are the realities of the A-League then? Have you noticed a gulf in the quality between the two leagues, or is it much the same as last season?
There is a couple of teams that are head and shoulders, I would say, and we really have to be on our game to compete with them. Everybody else is kind of itchy-peachy. There's not much in it, and it's probably the same with the top of the B division. You know, there is a lot of strong teams around there, but you just have to be on your game on your day. But as I've said about squads and stuff, it's the same for other teams as well. So sometimes you think you're going to have a really tough game, and you don't, because they're missing boys, or they've only got 11, they've no subs that Saturday. So that comes into part in border amateur.
Talking about quality and looking back on Saturday's Scottish Cup game, does the result reflect the performance?
Where do I start with that? It was they were good. They were really good, really strong, physical, fit. Everything we'd love to be. Played football the right way on a great surface. The 4G pitch was immaculate. We let ourselves down a bit, I would say. There's some boys that need to have a look at themselves in the squad. I would say 4 of the goals, or maybe even 5 of the goals, were completely our fault, and we could easily nullify that. We could put them right. If boys done certain things at certain times and had a look at themselves, maybe they have. They've went away, and I've had a look at myself the last few days, wondering what I could have done differently. I hope they've done the same, because some of them were below par, didn't perform. But I don't think it would have changed the result too much, because they were a really, really good team. We were missing 3 or 4 boys as well. Again, it'd be a big ask, because they were a really, really good. They were a strong team, but it was 11-0. You know, nobody wants to get beat 11-0, 8-0 at half time, and you're fearing the worst. You're thinking this could be 16, but we were below par, and we lost like 4 goals. I think it was in the space of 6 minutes, which is just craziness to me. I don't know how that happens, and it should never happen at any level. So we'll have to have a word and talk about it, and we'll put it right. We'll put that right.
How does a scoreline like that affect the players?
It affects them during the game. Like, as I say, 4 goals in 6 minutes, you can see heads go down, and they're like down. They're on the ground. They're not getting up, no matter what you say to them at half time. They come out with some... people look for answers, and they ask you, we should change things the second half. I'm not a miracle worker, You know what I mean? I can't pull someone out and change the game that way. At half time, it's 8-0. So it does affect them. We write it off. It's a big competition at a very high level for us, and you kind of just have to take what you can for it and move on. But we'll learn from it. You learn more in defeat than you do usually winning, so we'll learn from it. There was a couple, like Liam Laverty was outstanding. I would say if there was a team like a best 11 out of 2 teams, he's probably our only player in it, and it says a lot, because we got beat 11-0, you know what I mean? But he was outstanding on Saturday, so he can hold his head up high. And maybe Phil, he pulled off some great saves. It could have been more if it wasn't for him. So there is boys that will take positives from it as well, but some of them will be hurting, and they should be, rightly so. We got beat 11-0, you know what I mean? They should be hurting.
In terms of, you mentioned that there are positives and learnings, what kind of things do you take for that game that can be built on?
Liam's performance, his work rates, maybe some people could look at that and put them kind of things into their own performances. But you can look at the way we defended, and just silly mistakes, like stupid little passes around the box that aren't on, like making the right decision at the right time. You know what I mean? Clearing your lines. And I ask them to be brave every week, but there's being brave and there's being stupid. And Ken, they have to make their own decisions. We as coaches can only tell them what to do, but at the end of the day, when they go on the pitch, they have to make their own decision, And that's probably decision making's at the right time. Work rate, Ken, and there's plenty we can take from the game, definitely.
And I suppose maybe it's fortunate, or I suppose other people will look at it as unfortunate that you've got a free week this week. What does that offer?
Well, training, we never managed to train there on Monday night because boys were complaining about being sore. Don't know what was sore, to be honest, but they were sore from Saturday. So having a free week does affect training because there's no game on Saturday. But it can be annoying. But we have got boys on holiday, so we have to think of it with a clear head as well. That if we did have a game on Saturday, we'd have been maybe struggling a little bit because we've got a few boys away. But it would have been good to get back on the pitch and put a few things right. You know what I mean? Answer a few questions and get back on it. You know.
And you mentioned players, numbers, and discipline. What is the kind of situation around players in the club at the minute? Have you got a healthy number?
Well, we've got a healthy squad, but discipline has let us down, and it's a thing that we've struggled with. I think for a few seasons, just people picking up stupid bookings, you know what I mean, or stuff like that. And if you have a huge squad, it doesn't really affect it. But fortunately, we've not got a huge squad, so it does. And if you miss a couple of key players, then you're relying on younger boys, or you know what I mean, stuff like that, and then it just takes holidays to come and stuff like that, and then before you know it, you're down to the bare bones, and I'm playing again, you know what I mean. So it's but we have got a good squad, and we've got a good bunch of boys, and on our day we all pull together. Just sometimes some people lose sight of that.
And in terms of it's becoming a recurring theme, I think, in grassroots sport at the minute. There's a lot of the squad numbers are dwindling. What do you think the implications are of that? Why is that happening?
I would say, I think it's right down at youth level. I don't think, a lot of people are going about how people aren't interested, kids aren't interested anymore, but I think not enough people put back, so there's not enough opportunities for the kids, so that's how they lose interest. In Hawick, there's a huge age gap between the different age groups, teams, and that's where boys lose interest. And it's not because they don't enjoy football, it's because there's nowhere for them to play football. And then they go away and do other things, and they fill their Saturdays, and that's it, and they move on, and they'll never come back. And that's how, when you get to me, you get to the rugby, or you get to wherever, there's no players, because there's no the pathway to them teams. And that's what I think.
Looking ahead for the next couple of games, well, obviously a free week this week, but next week you're back in Cup action, South Cup against Kelso Thistle, who are actually in the B division, so you remember them from last season. What are your thoughts for that one, just briefly?
They actually knocked us out of the South Cup last year as well, so I think we managed to beat them. No, we drew with them. We beat them down there, and they beat us up here in the Cup. So we'll have to put that right. It'll be a tough game. They're a good side. We know them for the B division. I think they're doing okay this season. So it'll be a tough game, and we're looking forward to get back into it and hopefully go a cup run in the South Cup, because it's a good cup. We've been in the final a few times. We've won it. The club's won it. So it'd be good to put a good run together.
Well, we'll catch up with you next week for that, but hopefully training's positive this week.
Perfect. Cheers.